John Stephen, we are here at the house of Barbara Aichinger here in on Governor's Island.
Beautiful.
Apropos for this micro
Lake
interview.
Winnipesaukee.
Oh, absolutely in the background. I want to say thank you very much for taking a moment with Granite Rock. You are working hard. You're crisscrossing the state and doing all kinds of stuff.
All over the state.
And, you know, Barbara has had a problem here locally with basically one of the things that the founders thought was very, very important, which is the issue of private property. When one looks at the Declaration of Independence, 10 of the clauses dealt directly with the issue of private property because that was one of their main concerns against the Crown. And we're facing that almost now at the state level, especially here on the shores of Lake Winnipesaukee with DES and the utter control that the Democrats have decided to pull with shoreline protection and regulation after regulation after regulation. As governor, what are you, or as a governor to be, if you are so elected, is there anything that you would be willing to do in this case?
Absolutely. First of all, you know, Barbara is a person that knows best, and we come out here to this beautiful lake, and all she cares about is making sure that this lake remains beautiful. She cares about the environmental concerns that we have to make sure it's pristine and beautiful, but she wants to be reasonable in her ability to do what she wants to do on her own land. And I take very seriously private property landowner rights. I believe strongly that the Governor Lynch, acted recklessly, in my opinion, in trying to take away private property rights in this joint underwriter administration fund from doctors that have been paying into this fund for years, who were told and under contract agreed to having those monies belong to them. That's no different than the land we're on today, Skip.
Absolutely.
The issue with me is the government has got to remember the Constitution, but also remember that it needs to act reasonable in the regulatory power that it has. And the Shoreline Protection Act, for example, is an area where a lot of folks that I've talked to have told me it's about the enforcement, that they're enforcing it to the extent that these homeowners' rights are being infringed upon in a very, very overbearing, like you said, high regulatory fashion.
It's almost an adversarial relationship between the government and its citizens.
And when I was Commissioner of Health and Human Services, the one thing I did was I found we had food protection under my agency's authority. And I just wanted them to be consultative. There's one word, consultative. If you can go in and work with people in this state, this is the great Granite State. We are the first in the nation. You know, I've released a plan called First in the Nation Plan because I want us to get back to the first in the nation. I want people like Barbara and landowners to say, you know something, they came in here and told me what the rules were and that they were reasonable and that I can live by this because they're showing me what I need to do here. But they're not abrogating or infringing upon my property rights, which I have a constitutional protection for. So, I mean, there is, in my opinion, a very reasonable way of doing this, and it's called being consultative, helping people, getting back to the New Hampshire roots, being really what New Hampshire's all about. You know, helping citizens, public service. When someone works for the government, who's paying their bills? The taxpayer. And that's what I'm talking about here. When you lead at the top, and that's what I did, you tell your staff and those folks that are out there representing the state that you represent the great people of the state. And make sure you represent them and give them back value, so you don't, you know, represent them and go in and constantly fine unreasonably. When you go in and you act unreasonable, and when you go in and you don't tell people like Barbara exactly what they need to do after you've told them they are violating a rule. You know, just for 1 minute here, there's a raft out here. It's a beautiful raft. You can see children would enjoy this and probably do enjoy it every day.
Absolutely.
You know, I find out under a new current rule, they were trying to bring that raft under the guise of a protected rule that they needed to have a permit for. Now, come on, let's be real. That's what we need to be, is reasonable and not have foolish rules like that.
Well, very good. John, I know you need to meet other people. I thank you very much for taking time with Granite Rock.
Thank you.
Thank you.